It seems like we're in the midst of a Wu-Tang Renaissance. The group's manager says they're in talks to develop a Wu-Tang amusement park in Seoul, South Korea. Not many details about the theme park right now, but it's one of several recent projects based on the group, from a Showtime documentary and a beer being developed by Old Dirty Bastard's son called Young Dirty Brew, to the Hulu drama series Wu-Tang: An American Saga. Here's a clip featuring our guest, Dyme-A-Duzin.
Ripping rappers apart like a sheet of paper. Gun singing just like Anita Baker. I don't mean you're going to Montego Bay. When I say I'll send you to meet Jamaica, I mean you make a create a peace. See you later.
Yes, Dyme, you did that.
Hey, Cypher scene?
Yes. So you have the strongest Wu-Tang connection here. Why do you think there's such a resurgence in everything Wu?
Wu-Tang is hip-hop royalty. Wu-Tang is, you know, since the beginning until now, like a legacy that's always gonna live on. I feel like from the members, for what they did in hip-hop, from like, you know, the game changes and just the brand in itself, it just spread so wide and it's worldwide, and it'll never die in my eyes, like Wu-Tang.
I know you had the chance to meet a few of them. What was that experience like?
Oh my God, beautiful. It's so crazy. I met Raekwon before I even, this was my first acting role. So, you know, I
Nice.
got to act and rap in my first acting role, which was beautiful.
Yeah.
But the first time I ever met Raekwon was at a shoot with the brand called LRG. And he was there, he was real laid back, rolled up every 5 minutes. And like, when I spoke to him, it was like, you know, we had a good vibe. And he told me I reminded him of a young RZA, which was so, it's crazy to me. Like, I don't know what, but that was an honor to, you know, and that's like the head of the crew. And then later I met RZA at a movie audition. Yeah, so.
Are you gonna go to the amusement park though?
I would love to go to the amusement park. I mean, I'm sure it'll take years to make. I would love to take my kids there when I have them. I mean, you know, like, this is a big brand, so for hip hop to take it that far is just,
Yeah.
it makes me very happy.
So if this amusement park actually happens, Wu-Tang would be the first hip-hop group with a theme park. Is this a milestone for hip-hop?
It is a milestone, but I think we also have to realize how much Wu-Tang did in the beginning already. They set many precedents in the beginning. Like you said before, they already had their branding intact when they first started. They had comic books, they had Wu-Wear. So they were doing all those pivots that artists usually do now 20 years ago. I think they had the foresight to get that branding down pat in the advent that music would not be the marketable product anymore. So they were doing that from jump. And I think this is just an addendum to their long history of transcending music.
And being visionaries.
Yeah.
So Tony, favorite Wu track?
Triumphant. Triumphant is the joint. I may have to go. Cream is lit too.
That's mine.
It's so many classic joints. You know, Wu-Tang is for the children.
Yes.
And so, of course, they will have the amusement park. I do have an issue with this, though.
Tell me.
How come other cultures respect and revere us more than we love and respect and revere ourselves? Like, how come this has to be in South Korea? I'm not going to South Korea. You know what I mean?
You never know.
I don't want to go to South Korea. I would go before I go to North Korea, but you know what I mean? But I don't, wait, which one is the bad Korea?
Right.
Which one is the bad one? Which one
North
was Kim
Korea's
Jong? Oh,
communist,
okay.
yes.
I'm staying away from North Korea. South Korea, I doubt I'm going there. How come it's not in Long Island, somewhere that I can actually travel to? And it's something that, like, in all seriousness, I noticed that our older stars or legends, if you want to call them, they'll go overseas. I interviewed the Roots, and they said we make more money overseas than we do here in America.
Yeah.
Like, they'll go to London or they'll go wherever on European tours and clean up. Like, Coolio right now could go overseas and make money. You know what I mean? Like, but we don't look at people like that as being stars now. And it's weird to me that when you go to other cultures, they highlight our stars. And we won't even do that here.
I'll be at the point where I don't care what America thinks. I feel like America is just so out of the loop when it comes to like being connected to like real authentic things. I feel like we've been fed for so many years, like television, the word television, I always think about that, like you're telling me my vision. Like I'm looking at something and I'm being influenced for my life and I'm supposed to live my life this way. But it's like, nah, like we taking that back.
Facts.
We taking that back. So it's like other places understand that more. I feel like I've been to London. Like, I put out a song a month ago. They knew all the lyrics to the song, like a different appreciation. I feel like we're just trained so different. Like, different places are just so much like iller than us, man. I don't care what America think, man.
I agree.
We gotta get our sauce, man. We gotta really start thinking for ourselves and just like, yeah, make a change.
But that's what Wu's all about, doing your own thing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, American pop culture has always informed and influenced the rest of the world in that regard. I don't think we'd be remiss to mention that the rest of the world does not pay close attention to American music, American cultural productions, music, movies, art, right? America tends to be late when it comes to international things. Look at the way Afrobeats took 10 years to pop here. You get what I'm saying? So in terms of other cultures and other countries investing in our older cultural productions, it's not so much weird as it is common because they're taking a more studied approach. And when you take a studied approach to something, what do? You look back at the history. So this is why older generations of hip hop tend to do well when they tour Europe, when they tour Asia. So I think Wu-Tang had the foresight to say, hey, we gotta make some money.
But I disagree with your initial point, though, because look at Rolling Stones. Look at all of these older white bands still get play here in America, right? Like Mick Jagger is 80 years old, still thrusting his hip around and that nasty tongue, but he can still. That's my point.
And people are coming out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But in rock and roll, white folks who done it in the 60s still are popping here, whereas in hip hop, you're old and you're whack. That's here in America. So it's not necessarily just that it's a studied approach because they're still legends to younger people, whereas in hip hop, you're old and whack. Even other artists, if you hear Nelly talking about, Nelly was beefing with KRS-One. Shout out to Nelly. Yeah. But Nelly called him whack. And I'm like, that's KRS-One. How do you diss the legend? Like, Nelly, you kind of got to just be like, okay, that's the OG. I ain't going to argue with you. We just don't respect even in the Wu-Tang, some of them old dudes is broke. Like, outside of, like, Meth and Ray and, like, the main, 36 people in Wu-Tang. Not all of them are getting money. I think one of the dudes is driving a cab. And there's nothing wrong with driving a cab. I'm not trying to play him. I'm just saying we do not, particularly in hip-hop, honor our legends here in America. They have to go other places to get their roses.
It is very specific to hip hop in that the framework of hip hop is what? It's a young person's game, right? I don't think that we've found a way to recalibrate how we reconcile youth culture and respecting older generations. You know what I'm saying? So what you're saying is correct. Rock and roll has a different effect when it comes to the legends and the older generations. Hip hop has a different effect. And it's not to say that it's across the board. Look at the resurgence of Wu-Tang. That's garnering respect.
But that's a lot of white people. Let's be real. It's like when you look at TV and the people who rock with them, it's Seth Rogen, it's Jonah Hill. It's mainly white folks that's rocking the Wu-Tang and keeping them really popping, yo. It's mainly white people who are listening to, like Max Kellerman knows De La Soul. How many young black people know De La Soul?
Well,
that's one of my favorite
tend
groups.
to take a studied approach because they are inherently outside of that culture.
So what that means is white people taking a studied approach and foreigners are taking a studied approach. That means black folks need to start studying because it's looking real bad.
And there's a lot to learn from the Wu.
Wu-Tang's for the kids.
Yes. Well, the Wu-Tang Clan was established in 1992. They've been legends for a long time, and it looks like they are still bringing the pain after all these years. So that's all for today. I want to thank my guests, Tony, Ivie, and Dyme-A-Duzin for joining us and sharing their candid commentary. And as always, thank you for watching. I'm Marlie. See you next time. You just watched a clip from the show that covers the culture like no other. For every episode, I assemble a panel of thinkers, activists, celebs, and outspoken experts to give us their unfiltered opinions on the topics that matter to Black America. This is elevated, intelligent, and uncensored discussion, representing every perspective. The conversations we have when we're the only ones in the room. No topic is off limits. We're not afraid to go there, and we do it all live, 5 days a week. Join me here every weekday at 4 p.m. Eastern. And don't forget to subscribe and follow us on social media at twitter.com/Marlie Show. It's The Marlie Show. There's nothing else like it.